This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Might want to have the kiddos leave the room. This is Wretched Radio. Have been debating whether to share this with you or not. I'm going to until Tony or Joey says, please stop, because this is hard. This is very tough listening, and yet I do think that we need to hear this at least on occasion to be reminded what is going on in our country as we continue to legally kill our children through the gruesome act of abortion. Right now, we're, believe it or not, ready or not, we're headed into the election season.
It's been going for a couple years now.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Those are just the prelims, Joe.
it's ramping up now. You've got the debates that are starting, and they're going to continue to be a Donnybrook. Now this person, whatever, they're going to just keep doing their deal. And we see one party that is determined to make abortion not rare, but keep it legal and keep on killing them even when they've been born alive, which is a bit ironic considering feminists are the ones leading the charge. Please be reminded of these statistics. Almost 400,000 perfectly healthy baby girls, doesn't matter if they're healthy or not, are murdered via abortion each year in the United States. Baby boys are aborted at almost identical rates. That's an awful lot of human beings and image bearers there. Last year, 37 times more people died via abortion in the U.S. than every homicide combined. Almost 300,000 more babies were aborted in the U.S. alone than the total number of homicides worldwide. Let that sink in. By the way, less than 0.5% of babies were conceived in rape who were aborted. So the exception is used to make the argument all abortions should happen. 0.4 to 0.6% had a life-threatening abnormality. But remember, then it is not the life-threatening abnormality of the child. That's not a reason to abort a child. It's still a human being. Function does not make an image bearer valuable. They are valued intrinsically. They are imago Dei, not what they can imago do. I'm not sure that actually made sense, but I think I could tweet it.
Close
Between
enough for
0.1 and
the 21st century.
0.7% were performed to save the lives of mothers. Please remember, those are not abortions. Those are saving the life of the mother. And unintentionally, if we have to save the mother, the life of the child is lost, we grieve that. But that's not an abortion. They're mostly elective. No health reasons, not even social or economic reasons. Just don't want them. With that in mind, hang in there. I'm an oppressed female. Today I was burned to death for a crime I didn't commit. My body was doused in hypertonic saline, and for an hour my skin burned. My bones slowly disintegrated, and my cries for help went unheard. No one cared. For a crime I didn't commit, my flesh peeled away and turned black. For 1 hour I suffered, then I died. I am an oppressed female. Today, my mother chose her social status over my life. I was killed simply for being in the picture. My heart was beating so fast, so desperately, as I felt them slowly remove my brain until my skull collapsed. My once beautiful, now unrecognizable face was discarded with the rest of my lifeless body like a common piece of trash, simply because I was in the picture. I'm an oppressed female. Today, my father begged for my life, but they wouldn't listen. Did you see that video, by the way, of the dad outside the abortion clinic, screaming, crying, begging, please don't do it? I was too much trouble, too much of a burden. I was simply unwanted. Before removing me from what I thought was my safe home, they dismembered me limb by limb. They twisted and pulled off my arms, then my legs. I felt every bit of agonizing, flesh-ripping, bone-crushing event. I wasn't asleep. I was given no pain medication. In one last attempt from my murderers to make sure I was dead, they crushed my skull. My father tried to save my life. He failed. They won. I am an oppressed female. Today, just because I'm different, they poison me. They say my differences make me worthless. They call me an embarrassment, too much work, not smart enough, pretty enough, worthy enough. Doesn't matter. Today, just because I'm different, they poison me. It didn't kill me fast. As a matter of fact, it didn't work at all. When they realized I was still breathing and alive, they placed me on a cold steel surgical tray. Cold, lonely, and so scared. I cried for help, but they ignored me. I cried louder and louder. I may be different, but I know I'm dying. I am an oppressed female. Today my voice was silenced. I was told I have no opinion, no worth, and no chance at the life I was meant to have. I could have been a doctor, a musician, a mother. I wasn't allowed to. Instead, I was poisoned, crushed, dismembered, and left out in the cold to die, alone and forgotten. I was given no name, no love, no consideration, or a second thought. If I had been given the choice, I would have chosen life. But that choice was given to someone else. I committed no crime, and I did no wrong. All I wanted was to love and be loved. My worth, my dignity, my life, it was disposed of with my poor, murdered body in some back alley dumpster. Today I gave my life for your career, your education, your figure, your convenience. I am an oppressed female. And yet the charge is being led by women. We are in an era right now where at least it does appear that there are some states that have been working very hard to put an end to this abomination called abortion. Do we take incrementalism? Yeah. Because it might save the life of a child. But is that the end? This is beyond wicked. This is being right now, this is happening to a child. Sacrificed. One of these YouTube videos of this woman talking about how I want to go to school. I'm sure you do. And the baby in your womb wants to live. I'm sure it's a hassle. Granted. But that does not justify murder in the most atrocious manner possible. And so we see in our country efforts to defund Planned Parenthood. We see in our country that there is some effort to try to put an end to it. I saw Ohio just passed some defunding of Planned Parenthood in their state, along with late-term murder of children. Let us not stop until these oppressed females and males are protected and safe. And to those people who would say, well, you need to be fully pro-life. You need to make sure that you're doing everything for everybody on the planet. Otherwise, you can't say anything about one realm or area. First of all, we do speak out on those issues, but nobody can do everything on every single area. But it does appear that the number one atrocious activity that goes on the planet is the oppression of females and males, as they cannot say anything but silently scream in the place that should be the safest place on the planet. And so we continue to speak out. Don't grow weary if you're a pro-lifer. If you are going out to the pro-choice clinic where people are aborting their babies, dismembering them to bits, keep preaching the gospel, keep reaching out, keep pleading with, keep pleading for, on behalf of those who are voiceless, until prayerfully and faithfully this country comes to their senses and recognizes that what they are doing is an absolute abomination. The march of feminism, honestly, could it be more wicked? We were walking. Where were we at? Outside someplace. And once again, these girls, 12, 14 years old, seriously, these shorts that they're wearing in pub, the sexualization of our girls, what was the article? It's making its way around again. Answers in Genesis. Ken Ham was just talking about this again. Teen Vogue talking about How if you want to be, basically you want to become a prostitute, that can be a good thing. People need company. People need comfort. What? They actually did an article about how to do sodomy correctly. Oh, what kind of perverse thinking is that? In a magazine for girls? It's radical feminism that has led the charge in that regard. And we're seeing the sex trafficking because guys are so perverted, they're willing to kidnap children so that they can make a fortune on the prostitution of girls that they drug up and sell to them. You know what the starting age is for girls in sex trafficking? Starting age, typically, the average is 12. Thanks a lot, secular humanism. Thanks a lot. In the meantime, we Christians, sorry, not going to be able to silence us on this issue because the only religion that is indeed good for women is Christianity. Until tomorrow, go serve your king.
If you'd like more Wretched content, and who wouldn't, visit wretched.org and you will have Wretched coming out of your nose. And that's biblical.